Hello, right, I wanted to discuss lagging body parts, okay? Often when I'm training people, they say I'm very, very good at training, but this part won't grow. So let's answer this question, okay? And over the observations I've had. Now, let's assume that the food's on point. Let's assume that there's no injury on that body part. Let's assume that you're a fairly decent lifter, so you've got some experience, okay? There's been some development on that body part. Okay, now what happens, what I seem to find is that the speed of the rep that's executed is too fast for that body to, for that muscle to really generate hypertrophy. So what happens is this: let's assume that you're doing a bench press and you're doing 10 reps, okay, and you're benching about 1 second up like this. That's 10 seconds. So 10 seconds, 10 reps. On paper, you've done 3 sets of 10, but actually you only really work the muscle 10 seconds per set. So that's not a lot. That's not a lot of time and tension to generate hypertrophy. And the other thing is, when you then go and question the athlete or the client, and they say, what were you lifting this time 6 months ago? They don't actually remember. So the adaptation to the muscle has been inconsistent. Sometimes they've done 12 reps, sometimes they've done 10 reps, sometimes they've done 100 kilos, sometimes they've done 90 kilos. So there hasn't been a progression, there hasn't been a planned progression either on volume or load or both. So let's assume that we slow these reps down, okay, to 2 to 3 seconds. All of a sudden, it's still 10 reps, same weight, okay, but you have now worked for 60 seconds. Now that's a lot of time for that muscle to be in tension. So then your recovery for that set can afford to be a little bit longer. So say you worked for 60 seconds, okay, you want to times that by 3 or 5, depending on the mechanical stress that you've felt, and that will give you how long it takes to get back into that set to make sure that you can execute that set as good as the first set, okay? Because that's important. If you fail the last set, you want to fail because your muscle is failed, not because you're physically tired. So sometimes I see people jumping in and out of sets, but actually they're just ending up doing cardio weights. They're not really doing hypertrophy training. So as a tip, slow your reps down. Once you know how long it takes you to do those reps, maybe times that by 3 or 5, okay? And that's your recovery period. So if you're doing a squat and it takes you a minute to finish your squat or 50 seconds, you probably want to be resting between 4 and 5 minutes before you can correctly reapply the same intensity to that set. And that's key for hypertrophy, okay? Thank you guys.